I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bones Live, and today my guest is MisterSusan. Guys, welcome back to the show for your second time around.
Hello. Howdy, how you doing?
Very well, how about yourselves?
Good.
You know, I'm excited to have you guys back on because your last EP came out, was about around February, correct?
Yep.
The Beldama combination, and man, I really enjoyed it because obviously the first tracks I heard were Rooms with No Windows and Birds Without Hats. And then once the rest of it came out, I heard the rest of it. I was like, I really, really dig this because you went so many different places, like from the beginning to like songs like Yeah and My Capitalist Wife. Like I really liked it.
Good stuff. We're glad you liked it. Someone likes it.
Yeah.
We liked it, Doctor.
I did try to push it as much as possible because I really did enjoy it.
Good stuff.
Now,
Doctor's in the house.
Now with this one,
The trader's not here, is he?
with this because we're going to talk a little bit about this first because I know it's a little bit old, not too old, but we're still going to talk about it. First off, the Beldama combination. Does that relevance have like any tie-in to the songs? Because I noticed you guys, at least from all the openings, some of the breakdowns and bridges, that you guys like to kind of focus on some political issues going on.
Yeah, there are some political issues on the EP, but the title of the song is in fact EP. Well, the EP, sorry. The title of the EP is actually from a band that my great-great-grandfather used to be in, so it's not really got any relevance as far as politics goes.
Oh, really? I just, well, that was my bad. I kind of just assumed, right? So.
The picture is Ben's great-great-granddad.
On the back of the EP, there's like an old-fashioned band from like the 20s or something like that. So that's where the name came from.
That's really cool because that's a hell of a unique title there. I mean, I just with I didn't look it up, but is Beldama just something that they came up with, or is it what? Is it like a city, or is it some? Or is it just some?
Absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Where they were from? I think it might have been where they were from, or to do with the. Wasn't it somewhere in Essex? Yeah, it may well be somewhere in Essex. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're not entirely sure.
Okay, I was just curious because I just one of those things I kept meaning to look it up, but I just didn't get a chance to. So I'm just curious.
It's all right. We haven't looked it up either, so you're all right.
Yeah. So since I know we've been keeping in touch on Twitter, and you sent me that one live performance. Which was really cool because, like I've said many times, you know, it's awesome hearing these bands, but I never get to see the stuff live. But seeing the video was really cool. Now, that with the way you guys kind of orchestrate yourselves as far as the album go, I mean, it looked like since you guys have done a lot, it looked like it was kind of easy. But there's got to be, a lot of kind of prep going into that because just the different like we'll call it sound effects and different parts of the songs got to be a little hard to organize with the acoustics sometimes, I would think.
Well, Barry takes care of most of the samples. He is our drummer, and he has his pad and he hits it, and that's how we do most of the stuff live. We've also got a chap in the band called Ian, who's not with us because he's Italian and he's in Italy. But he actually has his silo synth has got a myriad of completely weird noises that he just programs into his key to each particular key, and each one he hits plays a different sound, and he can split his keyboard into four and all sorts of nonsense. So that's kind of how we do it, really. So if we do work outside of the studio, which basically means that when we come to get it all together, then we're in a good space. We just hit it.
Well, you know what? You wouldn't be able to tell it all, and just that's actually very cool. I didn't realize I mean, there's so much stuff about the instruments that are coming out and stuff you can do with old ones that I don't know about because I don't obviously look too deeply into it because I'm not a musician myself, technically speaking. But point being is, that would explain a lot to me how you guys have that. Like I said the first time around, like a really kind of tripped out kind of ambient kind of feel to it. It's kind of psychedelic, but it's kind of got that little bit of rock twist to it. It's kind of got a whole bunch of things kind of melded in, but it just the way, like I said, the way it flows and bridges, it just sounds really cool. But sometimes, like I sit back and I listen to it, and I'm thinking like trying to almost decide. At least when I initially first listened to the EP, I was kind of decide where you might go next, and I got thrown through a loop almost every single time. And that's not a bad thing, mind you. That's a good thing. I'm saying that as a huge compliment. So.
Good. Yeah, that's what we're aiming for.
It's not deliberate. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
everything's by chance, but yeah, whatever we feel like doing, really, basically.
So most we'll say with this past EP, I know, like I said, we played the two songs before, "Room with No Windows" and "Bird Without Hats." Now the other songs, like again, I'm gonna come back to the political side of things, because a song like "My Capitalist Wife," for one. And just the breakdown in "Room with No Windows" at the very beginning, where it says talking about a certain article, talking about closure, and then getting on to what happened not too long ago with like the phone wiretaps and that sort of thing. I just think it's kind of cool how you kind of meld it all in, but still make the song sound good without being, like, in a sense, too politically driven.
No, we usually start with a song. And then I think in actual case, we started with that one. We started with the song, and then we found the sample, and then the lyrics came after the sample. I think, really, to be honest, it was begging for those lyrics once we got the sample involved. So
I think as well, if you try and write a song around politics, you basically end up being a protest singer. Or a protest band. We're kind of not. We just.
Well, fair enough.
You know what's wrong and you know what's right. Do you know what I mean? And if we articulate that as part of what we're doing musically, then that's kind of how we do it. To be honest.
That stuff's a bit more tongue in cheek, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, we take the mickey out of ourselves and everything else as well.
We know it's good that way, because the political, we'll say, the quote unquote politically driven bands has already been done one too many times, and now it's kind of fallen on deaf ears, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
You've got to worry. You have to worry about it when Coldplay start doing it. You know.
Yeah.
So you think, the protest singer is a dying breed. Yeah. If they're all like Chris Martin, with all due respect.
Yeah, and before you know it, Bono's telling you he's changing the world by dumping his album in everyone's iTunes, which I think is just a violation of everyone's civil rights, really. If you end up with some awful YouTube album stuck in your iTunes that you never asked for. I couldn't think of anything worse.
And you know what? I personally, with you two, I do like some of their older stuff, but this kind of just like, take some music because we don't really care, because that's exactly what that music, what those songs sound like to me. It didn't sound like they put any effort in it to it at all.
No, I would concur with that.
But good point, and like I think now, because themselves and we'll call it another band who's been around for a long time are kind of at the point, at least my personal opinion, kind of at the point where it seems like, well, you know what, we're this big, we can do what we want, and it's not always going to go over well, because I mean, it's kind of sending them back into the to a somewhat of a dying breed.
Yeah, I mean, it's hardly either it's an attempt to gain new fans, or is a misguided attempt to keep old ones. I mean, both of which are kind of disingenuous, really, and a little bit of a non-starter.
And that's why the indie / unsigned DIY bands are starting to do so well, is because people want new stuff. Like myself, we don't want to hear the same stuff over and over again. You can hear on the radio. That's why. There's so much out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. You still got to look, because you're going to still run into some of the same quote unquote crap here and there. But if you look through it and you have enough patience, then that stuff finally comes along.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot. It's a lot easier to find some really interesting music in terms of looking on the internet now. But in terms of like mainstream places to listen, I think it's actually there's less and less choice. I think
there's nothing on the radio.
Yeah, you really have to. If you're interested in music, you have to be prepared to put a bit of work in and go looking for it, really.
You know what? And that's how I find most of the bands I interview and play in the show is because I've spent time looking and just like a lot of people and musicians, like just how you guys are kind of critical of the stuff you play and the stuff you're going to write and stuff like you want it to come out the way you want to hear it. You know, it's the same thing for a huge fan like myself, music fan myself, is I'm very critical of what I listen to. I don't want to hear the same stuff over and over again. I want to hear some difference. I want to hear some, something I haven't heard before. I mean, granted, at some point everything's been done, but it's just a way of how it's reformed or kind of integrated into the music that people are playing now.
Yeah, I think trademark sounds are quite dangerous because you end up because a lot of bands kind of flout this trademark sound and just want to sound like that all the time, and that's what we sound like. And actually, what they do is when you do that, it becomes very self-indulgent, doesn't it? And you end up disappearing up your own posterior.
Well, you're essentially typecasting yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and bands are great at reinforcing their own stereotypes.
No, that I couldn't agree more with. But let's get back to the music with you guys in specific, because that's what we're here to talk about. I understand you guys are currently working on a new EP.
Yeah.
And
well,
you did.
We just have to master it.
Oh, perfect. Well, you did send me a few tracks, so we're going to take a quick break here. And this is the first track. This one is called Broken. This is a brand new MisterSusan. You heard it first here in the Dr. Bone Show. Dig this.
The question is, as on the order paper, Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I beg to move the motion in the name of the...
Order. We're really not going to get anywhere this afternoon in this debate if members on both sides of the chambers continue to bawl at each other. It would be a very good idea if we could listen to the Chancellor and proceed with the debate. I'm sure he'll be generous in giving way, Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Take us anywhere.